What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Good Thursday to you. This is a Kendrick Sports Hustle Report. I'm Kendrick. That's SPORTZ, I'm going to throw a shameless plug in there. Wish myself a happy born day, January 19th. Pat myself on the back. A 54th trip around the sun, and I'm grateful and blessed to see it. But I digress, so I had to do that shameless plug. But we're talking HBCU again. Eddie George, Tennessee State head coach. He spoke with a podcast, and it was on. I found an article on HBCU Sports. He had something to say about the Ed Reed IG Live tirade. But before we get to those details, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. That's Kendrick Sports Hustle on YouTube, SPORTZHUSTLE. So again, I posted a story yesterday on Kendrick Sports Hustle on the Ed Reed apology after his IG Live tirade. He went on going at the Bethune-Cookman administration on some of the mess that he felt that they had him walk into. Well, Tennessee State head coach Eddie George, former NFL great as well, he had some reaction to that. You know, he's been at Tennessee State for about his third season. And Coach George says, and I quote, and this again is from HBCUsports.com, he says, and it's frustrating. He didn't understand exactly what he was getting himself into. George did say this on the Rise and Grind podcast. And when you get under the hood and you really see what's going on, and you do see the mold in the apartments, you see the mold in the dorm rooms, you see the facilities, the locker room is not the best. And he goes on to just say about some of the things, the challenges that you take on at HBCU programs. And I think that's something that we should really talk about. Eddie George was talking about his experience. He came to Tennessee State, and he said it's 2023, and there's still some buildings on the campus that's still from the 50s. And he said it still has the same mold on it for when he was there as a Tennessee Titan, because they held their camps, their training camps there, and they stayed on the campus. So Coach George knows a lot about that. He also goes on to say that, the state of Tennessee actually owed Tennessee State some money. According to him, he says that TSU has been underfunded for decades. And a report that was by the Office of Legislative Budget Analysis showed Tennessee may have underfunded TSU for decades. The report said the state may owe the school between $151 million to $554 million in land grant funding. So there you have it. That's the difference that we've always talked about when you talk about HBCU schools and these Power 5s and PWIs. The funding. I do recall back in 2016, 2017, when former President Trump was in there and he had a meeting with HBCU presidents. Don't know what that meeting, what they talked about, but obviously didn't anything come from it because the funding is still not there for the HBCU schools. So I thought Coach Eddie George had a really good insight on what it takes to really go through and what you have to deal with. You just got to roll your sleeves up and come in there and fight. Fight. It's about the kids. It's about giving making HBCUs a viable option again for 5-star and 4-star athletes. So I'd like to know what you guys think. Drop a comment below and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. This has been a Kendrick Sports Hustle Report. I'm Kendrick. That's SPORTZHUSTLE. You all have a great Thursday, and we'll see you on the other side. I'm out. Deuces.